things that you kind of are tolerable. You know, like it's like, man, I can't change this about this person, or maybe I can like help them change a little bit. But you get to the point where it's kind of like, okay, what are the trade-offs? You know, where do I barter in the relationship? Like, where can I compromise? What are some of the easiest things that you're able to compromise? What are some of the most difficult things that you had to come to compromise?
Well, that again. That's a little bit tricky because it's different for everyone. You know what things people are willing to compromise when it comes to a relationship has to do with the individual in the relationship. I've been very fortunate. You know, me and my husband are just both really laid back people. Like we can both be really stubborn and pig headed from time to time,
Mm-hmm.
but when it really comes down to it, there's not much that we don't at least agree to disagree about. You know, and that's really all it is. 'Cause we don't agree on everything, but we understand that we're allowed to have our own positions, even though we are in a relationship. Though we're in a relationship, we're still two separate people. You know,
Yeah,
and I think as long as couples remember that one little detail, there's really not much you can't get past.
I agree. Heather, you got any words on this?
I was listening more than anything else. And I was just thinking about the things I've witnessed with Kat and her husband and how they can be both very stubborn, but even in like a crisis moment, once they were like, but then they were like, oh, we're fine.
Oh
but
yeah, and Heather's actually been witness to some of the nastier moments in mine and my husband's relationship.
so they really do um, agree at the end of the day. So
So, do you think that getting all the baggage out on the table towards the beginning is like, important, or do you think like,
Dude, so me and my husband technically only dated for like 6 months long distance before we moved in together, okay?
okay,
And we used to play this game where it's literally, okay, tell me something I don't know. And like that's what we would do. We would sit in the car going from Fort Hood to Houston. I'm like, okay, tell me something I don't know. We would take turns going back and forth, telling each other stories or little factoids, and I think it's super important because if you have any secrets, you're not in a messy relationship.
I like that. That's true.
It's helpful. I don't think I would have been able to live with him. I definitely wouldn't have married him if we didn't live together so well. That's a true test.
What's like one top thing that you admire about your husband? I mean, it's probably many, but
Oh God,
It's the butt, right? It's
there's
always the butt.
there's there's a lot that I admire about my husband. Um, I don't think I could really pick one thing.
It's his
Because
ass,
my
right?
husband is a really great guy. He's a total asshole. I love him to pieces. Like, but I'm a total bitch. We work really well together. Like, really well. But like, nah, he's all around like a solid dude.
so when do you think you got to the
You
point?
know.
When do you think you got to the point you're like, I'm gonna marry this guy? It may not have been like a certain
Um.
moment. I mean, maybe it could have, but when do you think like, what? I'm all in.
Actually, okay. So it was a really okay. So mine and my husband's relationship is really weird. Okay. Um. Like 3 months after we started dating, um, he actually went to South Korea. He was gonna ghost me. And
Really?
before he went to South Korea, I actually had told him that I loved him, and I'm never the first one to say it in a relationship ever, okay? But like, he was gonna go to South Korea, and I'm like, fuck it, you know? He's gonna go. I enjoy hanging out with him. Whatever happens, happens. If he ghosts me, if whatever, like, I've been through this before. I will survive, but I enjoy his company. So I actually told him that I loved him about 3 months in, just before he left for South Korea. And it took him not even a full week after deciding to ghost me and leaving to South Korea before he called me and was all like, hey, what's up? I miss you. And it worked out. So I really don't know. I felt it like almost immediately, but for him it was leaving and not having me there that really solidified it for him.
That's cool.
Hashtag goals.
Was it just kind of the sense that you just realized that you just miss their companionship? You miss them being around? That's a part of it?
Well, for me, it's more my understanding of love is probably a lot different than everybody else's. And he treated me with more kindness and respect than a lot of the men that did tell me that they did love me. Because he didn't tell me that he loved me. He refused. And I told him straight up, I don't want you to say it. I never want you to say it. You keep treating me the way that you're treating me. I know you love me. I'll wait until you figure it out.
That's actually really cool. That's really... I've been around females that kind of would say it, but they kind of like demand it in the sense that I say it back. Otherwise, they would pay like the victim, like almost like if I didn't say it, I didn't care about them.
Oh, you bastard, you monster.
And it was just not that I was being a dick. It was just I hadn't felt it yet, you know. Not that I wasn't going to be open to feeling it, but I wasn't in that moment yet. But then whenever it was kind of like, it felt like I was being pressured to say it or feel it, it was almost more of a turn off for me in a sense.
Yeah, and I've been in the same position, you know, with dudes. I had a guy tell me he loved me 3 days into dating. I'm like, whoa, dude. Whoa.
Yeah.
Like, but there's always that pressure behind it. Like, they're looking at you expectantly. And, like, as bitchy as I can be, I'm actually kind of a nice person. I don't want to be the one that crushes you. You know? I don't want to be the one that breaks you. So there's always that pressure to kind of say it back. And like I said, that's part of the reason I've never been the first one to say that I love you. You know, like, if I feel it, I'll say it. But then I'll explain, like, okay, like, my love means that I have respect for you that is never going to change. You know, my love is friendship. My love means that I've got your back. You know, but it's very rare that I'll actually say it to someone. I tell Heather I love her all the time because I do. You know, but when it really came down to male-female relations, there's been so many times I've heard it, and it's not meant anything. So the fact that he didn't want to say it meant more to me than him saying it.
That's good.
By the way,
like I said,
I am reading everybody's comments, but my phone is dead. So there are things I've wanted to respond to, and I will later.
All right.
Okay, yeah, I can't keep both of the thing going and the comments at the same time. So if there's things I'm supposed to be replying to, sorry.
It's all right.
I'm
there's
not
just
as
people
technical as
responding
everybody else.
to a lot of things that you're saying, and then there's the side conversations too. But
Yeah.
I am reading the comments, guys. My phone just died on me because I downloaded a new game earlier and killed my battery.
Yeah, she's been playing hard in the past few days or so.
No, I downloaded it.
It's
like-
another one. Oh, there
like-
goes Heather for the next
like-
week. Hey, well, we again appreciate you calling in, Kat, and sharing
Yeah.
your thoughts with us.
Yeah, thank you for calling in. I'm pretty sure we learned a lot and definitely have some goals for our lives.
Well, I don't get to call y'all very often, so I'm glad I actually had something to discuss. You know, like, yeah, y'all have a good night. Be safe.
You
I'll see
too.
y'all later.
Have a good time with
Bye.
the move and congratulations.
Thank you. Talk to y'all soon.
Well, you know
Alright.
you know where we're at. So if you have any, if you ever need to get away for a second, we're right down the road from what Heather tells me.
Oh, yeah. I'll
Essentially.
stalk y'all.
Cool.
All right, sounds good.
All right, Kat.
Alright,
You
bye,
have a good
y'all.
night.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
All right.
It's cool that she called in because I don't remember what the topic was, but I had mentioned the asexual thing earlier, and then she called in. So it's
Yeah.
like, oh, that's perfect. Somebody that is, because I do have a few friends that will openly discuss that.
That are a bit asexual.
That's the thing that's a little conflicting when you kept asking certain individuals about, well, what makes you go all in when some people are polyamorous too. So it kind
Yeah.
of
For me now, like if someone's polyamorous, I'm all out.
All out.
All out, baby.
All out with the wing out.
Right here, right now. That's what I mean. No, it's
Let's
good.
do it.
Let's do it now. Let's do it here now. Polyamorous, all right, I'm all in.
Well, whip it out, big
I
boy.
mean,
Fuck.
Game.
Boss, what the fuck are you putting on these comments? Jesus, man. The whole
he
time
was
I'm
just-
like, loud poos? What the fuck?
because you have loud poos.
I don't have loud poos.
Yes, you do.
No, look, I like to sing sometimes, okay? It's not that they're shut up, man.
Hey, Junkie, you still on? I saw you log on right here. Now you're ghosting us.
He's probably live at the airport being delayed because
Yeah,
of the storm.
he was originally supposed to be getting back around this time.
He's coming in from Africa. Better have brought some meat, damn it.
Wayne's in
I
Africa.
am so hungry.
Are you hungry too?
It's hard for me to concentrate
Hey, we need to get some steaks.
or
We're,
speak
we're talking about
words.
getting steaks here this coming up here really soon.
What?
I want a ribeye.
I like steak. What the fuck? I want steak.
Okay, so real quick, change the subject. If you're not a oh, we got a caller. Let's try this out real quick.
Son of a bitch.
Maybe it's Junkie.
I don't think so.
Yeah, probably not.
Thanks
Hey,
for calling in.
you're live on the Ben and Scout Show. Who do we have the pleasure of speaking with?
Hello.
Hey,
Hi.
Hello?
can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
Hello.
Can you hear us?
Hello?
Can you hear us?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
How about now? Can you hear us now? Hello?
Okay, sorry. It's like it wasn't working very well.
No worries. We got it working now. What's up?
Okay, so I wanted to bring another thing up from earlier. A more direct thing that'll just land you in the friend zone.
Let's
Um,
give it to us.
Okay.
What did
but
she
but
think
now
of?
I'm feeling like now I'm feeling nervous for some reason, and like okay. Darn it, I lost it. I'm so sorry. I had something I had something that I thought was funny and was like true, and like now I can't think of it. I'm sorry. I'll come back later. Bye.
Okay.
I love her so much.
Is that Anna?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought. I just wasn't.
Black anus steak?
Anus.
No, she said anus.
She said anus. The heinous of the anus? What does the anus have to do with anything?
Black anus steak. I didn't know they make black anus steak.
What does the
Yeah,
anus
okay.
have to do with anything?
Yeah, so change a topic real quick. Oh, I think she's got
she
it.
called-
Can you hear us? Yeah, I can hear. How about now? Are you so good? Can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
I immediately remembered once I hung up.
All right. What
All
is
right,
it?
what do you got?
What you got?
So basically, one thing that definitely turned me off from a person is their cell phone use. So if I'm interested in you and we're like dating, if we're hanging out and like watching movies together or going out to eat together, if we're hanging out in a situation like that and you're on your phone for most of the time, I can't deal with that. Like that is a number one deal breaker
Dude, for real.
for sure.
Yeah, I
feel
agree
like
with
that's
that.
something that a lot of people have on their list too. Like phones are just, they've taken over like more and more and more every year.
I agree with that. That's horrible whenever someone's not even present anymore, you know?
I remember once going out to
Can you
eat
hear me?
with
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, we can hear you.
we heard you.
Okay.
I remember once going out to eat with Ben and his mom and his brother, and we're eating, and he's on his phone like this at the table, and I was like, "What are you doing?" And he slowly put it down. Because he literally had it just like up in the air, cutting off everybody, and I was like, "Sir, it did not happen again."
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, if you want to be with a person, like, and then the only time, like, every time you hang out, you're just on your phone, like, how interested in that person can you really be? And then it just, like, then it just shows that person that you're not into them and that, like, they're not worth your time, so then that person is going to act the same way.
I agree with that. Yeah, if there's someone that I see that's just always on their, if they know more about like what's happening on Facebook than I do, then I'm probably, because I really get on Facebook, you know. There's some good stuff, but I mean, I like to be present, you know, because I've noticed at times too that I can get lost in there, you know. I can get lost on, and I'm not even present in the moment anymore. So.
Yeah, and that's one of those things, like, in relationships, I don't agree with ultimatums very much, or at all, really. Like, it should never be, you need to do this, or I'm leaving. I think, like, relationships are about work, like, building and growing, and you can't just, like, if an ultimatum is, like, you need to start doing this or I'm out, then that's something that you can, like, go together. So I wouldn't pose it to a guy of just like, oh, you're on your phone, you need to stop or I'm gone. Like, it's something that, like, gradually can happen over time. But if you're in, like, the budding of a new relationship and, like, you've only been together a few months and they're just constantly on your phone, like, if you know more about what is going on Facebook than you know about what's going on in my life, then something is wrong. And, like, that makes me feel like you're not that into me, so I'm gonna distance myself too, and then every time, like, my feelings for you will just go away, and then I'm out, you know?
Yeah, I see that, definitely. Is there any other turn-offs that kind of came to mind?
I had another. I'm trying to figure out how to word it.
Okay.
Okay, so this goes back to, like, again, that, like, how we reflect how other people treat us. So, like, if someone gives off a vibe of, like, distancing themselves, then, like, it's natural to reflect that or to go overboard and, like, be more needy, for lack of a better term. So I guess another thing for me is, like, if a guy, like, is being a little too much too fast, if whenever I tell a guy that and, like, say, hey, like, this is just going a little too fast, I need a little more space, it really sucks that is, like, interpreted so often as, like, oh, she's just not into me, like, oh, I'm doing something wrong, like, oh, she used to give me all of this attention, but now, like, lately she hasn't been as much, like, she's not talking to me as much, she used to talk to me all day, and now she's not, and now she's, like, saying she needs some space, what am I doing wrong? And that really sucks because, like, I can really like a person, but, like, you know, when a relationship is brand new, you're just, like, all in and, like, thinking about it all day, and all you want to do is talk to that person because it's new, you know, and that feeling is really great. It just really sucks when, like, weeks go by, like, a couple months, and, you know, you get into, like, natural groove of where you don't want to talk all the time. You just don't want to go every second to this person, every moment be texting them. And then when you ask for space, they just kind of, like,
like get distant and kind of act like a baby. Like they act like a child. That's how it feels to me sometimes. Like they get all grumpy and like needier. So then when you ask for space, they give you even less of it because they're like desperately like frantically like, oh my god, like she doesn't want to talk to me as much. Like now I have to like grasp for every chance I can from her to talk. And that's a turn-off. That's a really big turn-off because it's just like, I want to be present, you know? Like, that goes back to the whole phone thing. Like, I want to be present. I don't want to live on my phone, and I don't want my partner to live on their phone, you know? And, like...
You know, piggybacking off of that, what do you think about jealousy if, like, your partner is speaking to... Or you're speaking to someone else of the opposite sex? You know, and your partner's like, hey, whoa, that's not cool, or just jealousy in general. What do you think about that?
Well, okay, so that's a really good question. I was just in a open relationship for, I say that I am a poly person,
Okay.
but I can be in different types of relationships, like with different dynamics. It just depends on the person, you know? And with my recent partner, we both agreed on certain, like, things spiritually that manifested in our relationship. So for us, like, we both agreed we don't want to possess a person and, like, own them. We want to, like, grow together and build a life together, but not necessarily own each other. Like, for me, I don't want to control everything about your life. Like, I love you, and I think you're really cool, and so I want to spend my time with you, you know? Rather than, I love you, so I have to have all of you, and nobody, like, you can't enjoy anyone else's company. Like, one of the best parts of life is getting to know people. Like, it's the human condition to need and want love, to give and receive love. It's the best part. It releases so much oxytocin in our brain when we meet a new person and connect. And for me, like, I want to have connections. Like, I get really depressed when I lack connection. So I don't know, I know the importance of that. So in that poly relationship, navigating through it was kind of hard at times, but the trick was to always talk about it and not wait until it was a big issue to talk about it, but to always be honest about my feelings. So it was all just honesty between us and communicating. So whenever we met somebody and felt a connection of some sort, we would tell each other immediately, right up front, hey, like, I just met this person, they're really cool, this is their name, and I feel a bit of a connection with them. And for us, like, different relationships have different dynamics. For us, we were poly with consent. So if I agreed that you could, you know, cuddle with this person, then you could. But if I didn't agree to it, or you didn't, like, tell me, like, already about this person and that you're going to be hanging out with them, then essentially it would be cheating. So the trick to it all with, like, our jealousy was the moment that we felt any jealousy at all, even if it was minor, we would talk about it and find out, like, the root of the jealousy within ourselves. Like, I think a lot of people who enter poly relationships or open relationships, I think a lot of them fail because they're not, first off, they might not be self-aware enough to have that kind of relationship, or second, like, they might be open enough to have that kind of relationship, like, open communication-wise. So it takes a lot of self-awareness, like, to deal with jealousy. But bringing that to regular relationships,
I like it. Hey, well, huge, good, really good thoughts there. And I, from what I take from it is,
Oh. Bye, Felicia.
bye, Felicia. What I get from there? Yeah, we lost you there for a second. But what I was gonna say is, what I get from that is a lot of communication. What's that?
Oh, I'm sorry. What was? I think the call dropped. Could you guys not hear me?
No, we could hear you. I think the call just dropped though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think that from what I get from that is just having communication with the other person is just so paramount. It's been kind of something we've been talking about like periodically throughout the show, that there's a lot of lack of communication at times. But when we get to that place, it's so healthy for a relationship.
Yeah. Well, bringing all of that to monogamous relationships, everything that I just said, I think with jealousy, there, like, the main points that I have about it are, like, first off, if you feel intense jealousy or even just like moderate jealousy rather than a little bit, well, not moderate, like, you know what I mean? If you feel jealousy enough that it bothers you, just from someone talking to the opposite sex, where there is like nothing going on, where they're not having a real connection, but they're just like, having a friend. If you have jealousy just from that, that's your problem. That's not your partner's problem at all. Like, they're not doing anything wrong. It's your issue. And I think it takes a lot of like self-awareness to be able to think like, why am I feeling this way? And to not think about, well, they're doing this. Like, they're not making you feel that feeling. You're choosing, like, a feeling, like, react, and how much energy you give that feeling, that is a choice. So why am I choosing to, like, hold on to this feeling? And where is this feeling stemming from? And, like, being able to look inside. But I think that's really important in a relationship, and that's definitely something that I look for in a partner. If your partner is actively like giving more energy to another person than you, then that is a problem between both of you rather than just yourself. I think if you feel intense jealousy, because some people do have really big issues with jealousy. I think if you have too much of it, like, you may just not trust your partner, and then why are you with someone that you just don't trust? Because love is not just like, it's not just one feeling. Like, love is a bunch of different things that like combine to create love. And I think trust is a big one of those things. Like, so if you have no trust for somebody, why are you with them?
Absolutely. Well, thanks for calling in and sharing that with us. I think a lot of people can relate to that. They feel that. I feel close to a lot of the stuff you said right there. The whole jealousy and just having a lot of self-awareness. Coming back to the self-awareness of who I am as an individual, what is taking inside me that's making me get these feelings, and being able to express them like from the get-go with the other person,
Yeah. Yeah, I just got my partner in my poly relationship cheated on me last year, and it was cheating because he had told me that the way he was communicating with a girl wasn't the way he actually was. He said he wasn't flirting with her when he was. Like, telling her she was his like best friend and how beautiful she was and all this stuff. And for me, that was cheating because I didn't know about it. You know what I mean? And he said he wasn't doing that. And there was a point where I got really upset, and there was a point where I changed my perception of what was going on, and I was like, whoa, like, I made an environment in a relationship where he felt like he couldn't tell me this. I created a situation where he felt afraid to tell me something.
Yeah.
Make sense to him of like, I'm sorry that I made you afraid to, be honest with me, and what can I do in the future to ensure you can be, open with me about anything. And I think that's really important in relationships, just to be able to change your perspective of something, so that you can see it more objectively and then work on it,
Yeah. Solid advice.
rather than you're all at fault, like I'm at fault too. Anyway, yeah.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and let
Thanks
you
for
go.
having me on.
Yeah, thanks
We
for
love
calling.
you.
All I can think about right now is how
Love you.
hungry I
Bye.
am.
Yeah, we're gonna let you go.
Love you, Anna.
Bye. Oh shit. All right, what the fuck is this shit about a sex robot? You fucking weird
No,
motherfucker.
definitely would not be able to date a robot.
The conversations
Tony, what the fuck are you
Wait till
starting
another-
right now?
went to another level right here. The comments.
Well,
Sex
Oh,
robot.
Tony.
Oh,
Sex
what a sex
robot,
robot.
sex robot, sex robot, sex robot.
What is that? Is that a video?
Yes. Whitest kids you know.
my
So would that
gosh.
would that be cheating? Only if I had a glory hole. Ooh, what if like,
What the fuck?
what if you like walk into Walmart? I'm gonna go buy. Where do you have your glory holes?
They're in the bathroom.
Can you lead me to your cleanliest dirt glory hole?
As a matter of fact, we can.
Oh, we don't have them. None of them are clean.
Well, we want to thank everybody who's chimed in tonight. We had a really good time talking about stuff and relationships and shit like that. And
I don't
Learning
think
ab-
we can share it online, Tony. I'm sorry. Just everybody look up sex robot, whitest kids you know.
oh god, Tony, stop. Anyways, guys, thank you all for tuning in with us tonight. We had a really good time and talking about things that y'all don't want us to do and things y'all want us to do, ladies, and learning about relationships and shit like that. And we had a good time. So
I agree. Big ol' shout out to Cloudcraft, located on Blanco Road here in San Antonio, Texas.
no, that's Bulverde Road.
Close enough.
Shout out to Boardwalk Tattoos, located at 7218 Blanco Road. Go check out Sue and Abel, and high five and get your holes filled. Also, shout out to Fast Eddie's Vape Shop and Lounge, located out in Florida.
And a big old shout out to the people who made these shirts
Shells Custom Tees
and more.
and more. That's right. Big shout out to Michelle. She is awesome. We love her very much. Thank you so much for these tees. Remember, guys, you can still get your orders in. We're taking orders will be filled and sent out next week. So get your money in so we can pay for these shirts to get them ordered for you. Send us the money. Send them the size. No moolah,
Appreciate
no
it,
order
guys.
made. That's how it works. You give us the moolah, we make that order and get it going. Anyway, guys, thank you all for tuning in tonight. We love you all. But that
Again.
song is closing time.
Again, guys, you're watching the Ben and Scout Show. My
You
name
all
is Ben.
are. My name is Scout, and we are
The Ben,
Ben
and Scout, Show.
Thank you all. Y'all have a good night.
Catch you guys here, not Friday next week, Saturday.
Saturday at 9 p.m. We're not going to do an 8 o'clock show. We're going to do a 9 o'clock show on Saturday.
If you got any suggestions for a future show or next week's show, send them on the group page. Send us a message, a messenger, and we'll wrap our show around it.
Tony, you crack me up. I love you.
All right, guys, we love you all. You have an amazing night. We'll catch you guys here
Y'all have a
Really?
good night.
really soon.